So you want to start a YouTube channel, huh? Yeah, I remember talking about that. About I think it was 4 or 5 videos in. I'll leave a link to the one that it's on. Uh, and I told everybody, I said, "Look, I'm going to show y'all how to start a YouTube channel." And guys, I didn't even know how to load a video up. I didn't know how to do a description. I didn't have nobody in my life that knew how to do anything like this, and I just went for it. And as I started this journey, I promised everybody as I learned things, as I seen things, as I made certain milestones, I'd share them with you. And if I had anything to offer to you along the way, then I would always be willing to come at you. And that's what I'm doing. Hello, everybody. My name is Guy. I appreciate y'all being here. Welcome to Creating Change. If you haven't already, hit that like button for me. I'd appreciate it. Help small YouTubers out like me. Right there, I think is one of those battles for me. As I first got started, it was a big battle for me. One, let me give you a little helpful hint. Put some of these things on. I don't know why, but I developed a squint habit, and when I don't wear the glasses, I squint. So I'm just going to put them on before I start because it will make your head start hurting. But as I started this little project of building a YouTube channel, I promised myself that I was not going to do things I didn't enjoy. Hence the name YouTube, right? And, I also promised myself that I was gonna practice the things right in front of everybody. And that's why as we got started and I was able to go with live streaming, then I started with live streaming, strictly out of the joy of just bringing a show to people, bringing something to people and most of all, learning something new. And that was the hardest part for me was embracing that, okay, if you wanna be a YouTube content creator, then you have to be confident enough and proud enough to look people in the face and say, "I'm a small content creator. That's what I like doing." Now, can I say I'm making a living at it? No. No, not yet. But I can be proud enough and I can be confident enough to say I can see how I can, and I can see how the numbers start to grow. I'm fully monetized. So now every time I do anything that gets a little bit of views or whatever, I do get a couple cents from it. Now, does it mean a whole lot right now? Not really. But when you start thinking about the overall effect, then yeah, it means a whole lot. Especially coming from a man it took me a year, took me 11 months to monetize this channel. And that was without stepping outside my boundaries or anything like that. I just took things on as I could. Guys, that's another thing. I encourage you, just take your time. Take your time and make videos and try your best to make things that you're proud of and will always be proud of. Now you're going to look back at your first videos and you're going to be like, man, that sucked, right? Like, I mean, all you're going to look back. It's just the way it is. But as you start packaging these things together and as you start learning to approach this whole idea of creating content, then you start to get comfortable with it. You start to not mind approaching this camera. You don't mind approaching information around a topic. Right now, I have no script that I'm working by. I have nothing that I'm referring to. I have my little monitor that's right there that I use for live streaming and my StreamYard stuff. And, but I don't have no script. I don't have nothing like that. And I just have a thought and a process in which that I go through before I come in here and I make a video. So to answer that question for people, what is your process for making a video? My process was today I thought about, man, I'm actually going to sit down and just talk to everybody about what this past year and the journey was and hopefully be able to inspire people to keep doing what they do. If you're wanting to be a content creator, if that's what you want to do, then do it. That's exactly what you do, and put your mind to it and just keep doing it and push yourself outside your boundaries when you can and, learn when you can, stretch your wings when you can, commit when you can, and commit to what you can, like, stick to it, stick to it. Now, I'm not saying throw trash out there. I'm not saying just throw any old garbage out. I'm saying you've always got shorts that you can run. You've always got some type of something that you can put a long form video out on. You can Get creative. You can wrap your life, what's happening in your life around maybe what you're you can there's things that you can do to keep yourself inspired. Because basically I feel like people aren't looking for fake. They're not looking for over edits. Of a dude that I follow on here that I respect a whole lot, Kevin Colbert. Um, he said it best. The over editing just it gets too it gets too blundered up, and I agree with that. Now I'm nowhere near the level that he's at, but he one time sat at the same level I'm at. And he's had to go through changes. He's had to learn and progress and do different things, and that's what I'm doing. I'm trying my best to learn how to tie everything that I've done into a common way that I can sincerely approach people and say, "Let me help you. Let me show you these few practical things that I learned to do. And do you like my vibe? Can you get down with the way that I approach things?" That's been my whole in my mind of like, okay, the value that I can offer is to be uncomfortable in front of people, learn some stuff that I don't know, and then there'll be a whole big group of people coming that maybe I can share some of this information with that I feel like could really help them in their progression along the way. The whole idea behind collaboration shorts, guys, for all of my creative friends, I'm throwing this out there free collaboration shorts. If you're looking for subscribers, if you're looking for, being able to boost your channel awareness, people just to see in your channel. Now, I'm not saying it helps you towards your monetization goal as far as on your 4,000 hour thing if you're on the route to monetization, but what I am saying is it can truly help with the boost of subscribers. Um, you know, I've seen some real progression on my own channel by using collaboration shorts. And, now I haven't had no real success with long form videos. Now my live streams, I've had several with 3.5 thousand views, which still isn't that much, but for a little channel like mine, it's pretty good. But it's not my channel. That's something I want to lean in on now. It's description, it's title, it's tags, it's what you speak about. It's all those things. There is no one little magic button. I don't believe that. It is a combination of those things and learning how to apply them. And I encourage you, use the tools at your disposal, including AI. There's certain ways that you can use it to really help you. And if you're interested in that, I have a video that you can go check out. I'll you'll be seeing it pop up here, but there's a video that you can go check out that I've done just a few days ago on, how I approach speaking to AI and how I use it to come up with my description and title and things like that. And it's just more or less about asking for what you want and knowing what you want. But we go over that pretty easily in that video, and you can check it out. I'll leave the link and everything for it. But guys, it's really important to take into consideration that you have all these things that it sounds like a lot, but once you have done it a few times and done it as correct as it's, with going through the description and going through the title and putting your tags and once you've done it a few times, it gets easy. So I encourage you to lean in on that. As new creators, as old creators, as whatever. Lean in on it. I don't think anybody would tell you that I'm telling you any lies about that. And learn more as much as you can about tags, the title, the description, and, learn all you can about it. I've been using ChatGPT as far as to help me come up with, the hashtags and things like that that I need. And I encourage you use it. It's there. It's not like it's cheating. And go to other channels that are making similar videos and look at their description. Look at it. Look at how they've got their set up and look at all the things that they've got in it. Does yours look that way? Okay, if it don't, you need to try to make it look that way. I'm not saying, copy everything they got, but what I'm saying is do you have the hashtags? Do you have the things that everything that you see that they got. Because if you go to anybody like Kevin Colbert, we just mentioned him, I'll mention him again because I do respect him, and I also respect Sean Cannell. But, you know, you look at their stuff and you can see, it's they have ways and things that they do, and there's a reason that they do 'em. There's a reason behind it. So, I encourage you as new creators to look at that. But, just have fun with this, man. Guys, that's what I promised myself right out the rip on my route to monetizing this channel because I set out to do it. That's what I was gonna do. I knew it wasn't about like it wasn't so much about money. It was about that's a goal. You have to set goals on here, and you have to sometimes do it even when you don't like, even when you feel like you don't want to. But guys, when I started my good vibes journey back last year, and I mean I went for days doing it, consistently for days, and then did the good vibes live stream for 5 days a week with Guy and Shine, and then we went to 3 days a week for months, and then it was a run, guys. Oh, but it was about that, man. Just making yourself keep going. And there was so many times that I truly didn't feel like doing it. But then I make myself get going and get doing it, and then I find myself enjoying it. And that's another thing I found with these videos, man, is I use it as sometimes a mind dump. And I mean that. I'll come in here and just have some things on my mind, and I'll just talk about it. Like this evening, I wanted to talk to everybody about new YouTube stuff and be honest with you. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. I'm always good about coming through my comments and answering as many as I can. As all of, I don't get that many, but I answer all of them that come through, guys. So, ask anything about that type of stuff. And I'll steer you exactly the way that I went about finding it, or exactly the way I'm going about doing it. Or if anything, you just need that motivation, guys. And that's basically what it takes sometimes, is just that little bit of inspiration, or somebody that's willing to maybe tell you the uncomfortable things in a nice way and help you find a solution. Instead of just telling you what's wrong, maybe instead of telling you what's wrong, tell you everything that's right and some ways to improve it that maybe would help. You see what I'm saying? So you can automatically kind of point out where maybe people are lacking by giving them some things to help them grow, by giving them some information that is solid and that will at least be something that they can tangibly apply, and not come at somebody in a way where it's like, well, yeah, it looks like you're not approaching this right, you're not doing this right. Well, how about just point out the things you are doing right, and then give you some things to maybe help you do better. And then if that person wants to talk about the things they feel like they're falling short on, then we're going to approach them, and we're going to see how we can help to make that get more comfortable. I can tell you, first and foremost, make this camera your best friend. Make this whole area your work area. If you're doing it in a little spot like I'm doing it in right now, make it your spot. Like, what I mean is be comfortable with it, man. I got my drink right here, man. It's like, shout out to the Sprite. My wife really loves the cranberry. Let me know if you like this. It only comes around with the holidays, so I drink it. And it is pretty good. But, make your spot comfortable, guys. Like, just get in that zone. This is my little spot. Got my guitar sitting there, and another one there, and got my little thump bass there, and I just got my stuff. I just got my stuff. And I can come in here and do my YouTube stuff. That's what I refer to it with my wife so lovingly. But they respect it out of me because they've watched me now for a year. Like, stay with it. Like, man, I'm gonna stay with it until I get to this point. But I'm gonna learn all I can as I go, and I'm gonna bank this into my memory bank, and as I go, I'm gonna do it in front of everybody, and that's where the live streams came in at, man. There was so many times that we were learning on the fly, and we were messing up in front of everybody, but I truly think that these days people wanna see you make the mistakes. They wanna see you be a real human being, man. because everything is so AI, everything is so perfect, everything it's like pictures of people. Well, you hardly ever get to just see a true good old picture of somebody that ain't been all, you know, done up and fresh and, made it look perfect and no skin flaws, and you're like, "Well, hell, I know that person in real life, they don't look like that." That's a bunch of crap, you know? And I mean, I get it, it's okay to do that sometimes, man. I get that. But what I mean is it just seems like we're overwhelmed with it these days, and I think that being another thing I wanted to approach is I think don't be worried about making mistakes. Don't be worried about it. If you have to pull up something and read it, then pull it up and read it. Like, man, okay. Look, it says this, or that, or whatever. Ain't nobody, you know what I mean? If you're dry and you're thirsty, clear your throat. Get you a drink. You were sitting across the table from that person. Well, it wouldn't be no big deal. Well, then treat this camera the same exact way. That's my point. You just treat it exactly the same way. And you don't have to stay looking at it like that either all the time. You're allowed to look away. If you were a person sitting there and I was talking to you, I'd probably be looking at the trees out there in the yard and looking around, then glancing back at you, then looking over there and glancing back. Because I'm not going to, I don't sit there and do no, you don't have to dead eye stare or something. So you don't have to treat the camera that way either, or the phone, whichever you're coming at. I happen to be using a camera, but whatever. Whatever you're doing it with. Your phone, I started out with just my phone, guys, in here looking like a hostage, nothing on the walls. Yeah, I mean, it was comical. It was kinda like walking back down memory lane last few days, just kinda taking a look at some of the older stuff, and I'm still proud of it, man. I'm still proud of it because, I knew that I didn't have no idea what I was doing, but I seen these other people doing it, and it's like, "Well, man," not putting anybody down, but why I look somehow, I be like, "Well, they don't look any more smarter than me." Well, it seems like to me maybe I could give that a whirl. Well, it started out pretty rudimentary, guys, with this cell phone, this exact cell phone, sitting out here by the white oak tree, and that was it. And then just uploaded my first video. That's how it started, and I ain't changed it. I ain't changed it. It's still everything that I've done is still exactly the way other than I did go back and change a couple thumbnails on a couple of them. But, as far as, like, redoing them or, like, editing them or because guys, editing at that time, yeah, that wasn't gonna happen. Yeah, you wasn't gonna I was lucky enough just to get the video loaded up in there. But, that's the whole idea behind these, journeys that we go on is just getting comfortable with the journey. Man, it's gonna get a little bumpy sometimes, and it's gonna get a little crooked, and you're gonna, have to kindly lean in on the curves every once in a while, but, man, just enjoy it. Get comfortable, and learn that I truly think that these days people wanna see realness, man. They don't wanna see somebody perfect. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I mean, that's great. If you wanna polish your videos and you super love editing and you just super you're into that, then cool, go for it. But for myself, I just soon watch somebody that I know just kinda turn the camera on and give me some real talk and real advice and real stuff and give me real angles on what they're doing, and that's it. And maybe just have some fun with it and personalize it a little bit for me. But the last thing I need to see is somebody jumping off a cliff and then, something jumping out of the screen at me and scaring me half to death or anything like that. I just don't need that. A little bit of fun theatrics is always cool, but then there's times it gets overwhelming. It gets to be too much. So I just encourage you to get comfortable. Sit back, get comfortable, enjoy what you're doing. Have fun with whatever it is you're teaching. If you're teaching about this remote control, then kick back and just have some fun teaching about the remote control. Be like, guys, I really don't, it took me about a year to figure out most of these buttons. So some of them I've only touched once. So let me show you what they did. Have fun with it, man. People don't care that you're real. People don't want perfect. They just want somebody that they can get that they can relate with. Like, okay, he's not trying to overtalk. It's kind of like with the guitar. I know I'm a terrible guitar teacher, and it's not because I don't have a pretty good idea of fundamentally what to do. I can show basic fundamentals, but I'm one of them. I want to mind dump. I want to give you everything I know right now. Well, as a teacher, that's the worst thing in the world you can do is just give too much. But I get excited when I see somebody, maybe something click in their brain or something, yeah, that I see that makes sense for them, and then, like, realize that they got and then I wanna give them everything, and then I know I just get carried away with doing trying to get too much, so it makes me a terrible teacher. That's just the way that is. And I'm okay with that. I just don't even try to teach people very much stuff. If somebody wants me to show them something that I know, then I'll be happy to show them. But I don't really offer to teach because I just know how I am. I'm too scared. I'm too much of a mind dumper in that way. I'll put too much on you, and then it just makes it confusing. But that's the kind of approach that I'm trying to come at with people now that I can legitimately say, well, look, I can show you some things that didn't work, and I can show you some things that have worked, and I can show you some things from a realistic way, because I'm sitting right here doing it for you. My whole channel has been a whole journey of this is how you this is how you build a YouTube channel from nothing, not knowing how to even upload a video, guys. That's where I was at a year ago. September made me a year, almost 500 videos. That's I mean, that's a lot of videos, guys. A lot of time spent. And, I've learned to do editing. I can do just about any type of editing I want to do. Um, Once again, I don't lean in on it heavy. I do edit some of them. I'll put a few little things in, like trim up the front, which I encourage you to do that. Just clean things up where it's not like you've got yourself turning the camera on for 30 seconds, getting it stood up and all this kind of stuff. No, I mean, have yourself ready so that you're not boring people. But then, as for like I promised in this video, or we've been talking in this video, it's about a new YouTube startup, but also a mindset kind of thing. Like, man, where do you plant your mind at when you're going at trying to start something from brand or new. Well, what you do is you plant your mindset in that you're brand or new. So everything you do is a win. You're brand new. Now, I'm not saying everything you do is going to be right, but everything you do, you're winning because you're learning every time, every single time. And the closer you can get to learning it in a routine kind of way where it's the way you do it each time and it becomes a second nature type thing, the easier it is. And don't be afraid to ask about, how do the hashtags work or how do this work or how do that. Guys, there's answers to be gotten out there. And you can narrow this journey down for yourself. For you new creators out there that's trying to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. A lot of people might say, "Oh, well, if you're trying to get to your monetization level, then shorts isn't the way to go for you because it doesn't count to your 4,000 hours." Yeah, but it counts to gaining you some subscribers, and it counts to getting you some channel recognition. And every time you put a short out, tag your newest video in it, or make sure that a video related to it is in that video, for the next video coming. And all these little things in the grand scheme of things, now it may not seem like much when you're only getting 15 or 20 views, but you spread that out there to 2,000 views if it's an extra 5% or whatever the case may be, well, that starts adding up. When then you start getting up there and even bigger now, I mean, you see how that works, but that's the approach that I would tell anybody that's starting with a new YouTube channel. If it was my best friend, I would say, "Look, man, start putting you some videos out, start you notice when you get comfortable, and then let's talk about your next step. Make enough videos that you can come and say, 'Man, I'm comfortable with doing that.' Alright, well, now let's move on to the next step." And to me, if you go at it from that approach, like, "Okay, I'm new. It doesn't matter. Nobody's gonna jump through that screen and eat you. They it's just it ain't gonna happen. If it was gonna happen, it would already happen to me. It ain't. You can make all the mistakes you want. You can do it the wrong way and still win." I made a YouTube video about that. I'm doing it wrong, and I'm winning. I'm monetized, right? I did exactly what I said I was gonna do. I did it wrong a lot, but I kept going, and I'm still doing it wrong. I'm still doing things wrong. I feel like I got a handle on about 70%, 75, and then I feel like there's a crucial 25% that I'm still striving for. That's okay. That's okay. What are you gonna do? Laugh at me because I make a video? What are you gonna do? Well, out of those that are laughing, how many videos do they make? Okay, well, let's go look at some of their videos and laugh. I used to love doing that on live stream, like, somebody start talking crap. And then once you go to their channel and you see they don't even have no content up, well, that makes it easy for you to laugh at what other people are doing when you don't even have nothing up there. Guys, just don't even worry about those types of things, man. That's not going to be where your success is found. It's just not. But if you take this as a package, like it's not about you guys, you have to be willing to accept that there's going to be some things that are in your control. The way you deliver your message, the way that describe things, or the way that you put your hashtags in, or the way that you do this, or the way that you do that. But there's going to be some things that's just not in your control. And at first, man, there's a lot of things that it just wasn't in my control. Like I just had to concentrate on being able to get a YouTube video uploaded. I was lucky enough just to be able to put the title in and get it right. You know what I mean? So, like all this other tags, description, blah blah blah, none of that, none all that was that was foreign language to me. Like I totally understood what they were saying, but how to apply what they were talking about, nah, man, next level, next level. Well, indeed, it was next level. You start leveling yourself up as you get comfortable with doing one thing, then add something else to your repertoire. Give it a go. And it's gonna be a journey. And man, there's nothing that's any more difficult than as a content creator, you work hard on a video, you do it every way that you think is right, and then you upload it to YouTube, and then, a week later, it's at like 12 views and 4 of them are yours, right? I mean, it's demoralizing, guys, right? Like as far as like in your if you start dwelling on it. But what I do is I try to let that inspire me because I just know that my success is on the other side. I just if I'm honest and I look at my video, I'm gonna be honest. I look back at some of mine and they sucked. They were terrible. I thought they were gold at the time. Let's be honest. I thought like, oh man, this no garbage. Sounding like crap. All this kind of stuff. You know, but that's okay. You look back and honestly critique yourself in an honest sort of way, not put yourself down, but be like, man, I could do better with my delivery. I could do better with it, or I could do better with that. That's the way that I approach every video that I do, and that's why I keep putting them out. That's why I keep trying new things. I just keep trying. It's about creating change. It's about just trying those new things and seeing what happens, man. What is it? You just throwing, you know, just throwing things out there and hoping something sticks, right? But at the same time, taking more and more of the hope away by putting knowledge in and knowing. You see what I'm saying? You're never gonna take 100% of the hope away as far as, like, what I mean is when I say hope, you always have hope, but what I'm saying is you're taking it out of the hands of, "Well, I hope this does good," into, "Well, I've got this right, this right, this right, this right. These are in line." Now, I've narrowed it down to, I've got a lot of things that I know that needed to be done. Now I just, I put it out there and let it go, see what happens. And then you just keep process of elimination, keep making videos, and each time, that's why I say if my best friend come to me and truly wanted to monetize the channel, like he's got a little YouTube channel and everything, but he's not really shooting for, that's not what his goal is right now. But if he come to me and he truly said, "Dude, I want you to truly, like, give me a step-by-step process of how to actually do this," then the first thing I would tell him is, "Okay, well, I tell you what, come back to me in the next handful of videos, however many videos it is, when you feel comfortable. When you can turn that thing on and you don't no longer feel that real nervous butterfly feeling, or feel like you're gonna, you know." And I mean, I'm not saying that when you don't never stumble or anything. I'm just saying when you're no longer nervous about it, when you've finally gotten comfortable with the idea of talking to your phone or talking to the camera. And it's just a matter of doing it. And that's why I say, come back to me when you get that comfort. It's 5 or 6 videos in, maybe 10, but just keep making your little 5, 6-minute videos, 3-minute video, whatever length it is. The more you do it, the more comfortable over time you're going to get with it. I promise. Then once I did that, then I would start leaning in on, uh, we'd have that conversation about, okay, well, what direction is it that you want to go? Because I know for my channel, I have really give it uh every not chance in the world of doing good, in the way of that I've had so much different kind of content on my stuff, but I'm doing YouTube. It's about me. Me includes a lot of things: my family, food, going places, talking about different things, playing music. I mean, I truly took it as when they say YouTube, that means it's about me, right? So that means I can have a YouTube channel about everything me. That's my niche, everything me. Nothing wrong with that. I monetize this channel around that. So there's nothing wrong with doing it based around you if you don't want to narrow things down that far. Like, I like to play music. Actually, I don't want to say I like to. I love to play music, but I did not want to have a channel just based around my music. I didn't want to just be stuck on that kind of like that pattern. Now I'm cool with playing music, and I would play it for the rest of my life. But what I mean is, this YouTube channel was a chance for me to not only get to show people how to create change, but it was a chance for me to get to let some things out, let some things go, talk about things. Because sometimes when you hear things, even when it's yourself talking, it rings things out in your brain, and that's what creating change was about. It was about growth. It was about taking something that bugged me. The lack of knowledge bugged me around the computer. Like, now I can use my computer fairly good, fairly well, and I can do StreamYard, and I know how to do all that. Copy and paste, boy. I'm a copy and pasting fool these days. When I learned how to copy and paste, man, oh, I was next level. But that's that's been where I found that I had the most fun was in challenging myself to learn something new. Because now I can pretty much say that I'm not an authority on StreamYard or on anything like that. Like, I don't know everything, but I could surely teach somebody well beyond the basics anything that they would wanna know about it, any feature that they would wanna know about it, and I'm pretty proud of that. I didn't know nothing about it. I could show people how to do some things on the computer where 6 months ago, Big Jack had to, call me personally and walk me through how to get the camera to reveal itself on my computer. It was still using the camera on the computer. Well, hell, I didn't know there was a little slide thing here that covered it in and out. Well, I spent over an hour on a live stream. People couldn't even see me. I didn't know where it was at. But that was the fun in it, guys. Embrace it, man. I mean, it's something new, it's something different, and everybody that's doing this in any type of way, I don't care. For me, at my little 1,400 and subscribers, or you can go ask Kevin Colby or Steve Cannell or whatever, however many subscribers they got, over, I think, 100,000 for Kevin and millions for Sean. But you know, it's it's uh it's about just keeping that desire to want to keep inspiring yourself and people and keep doing something that, you just keep learning. And it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to make mistakes, man. I think people respect it. And I think people can, when they're looking at something new and they're trying to figure out how they're gonna get their little start, because I remember watching all them videos of how to start a YouTube channel or how to do this or how to do that. And guys, some of it got so daunting, like, that's way too much information. Like, I'll never get a YouTube channel started if that's truly what and all you gotta do. Well, now some of the things that they were talking about now seem easy to me, but I encourage you, man, just turn your phone on and share with the world what you wanna share. And learn to do the little things and take advice from folks that are willing to give it to you. And folks like myself, I'm willing to give it to you. If you ask me a question, I'm gonna give you a direct answer in the comments. So if there's anything that you'd like to know about anything I'm doing, what I'm using, whatever it is, I will answer any question that anybody has. And, just keep trying different things. Take them little advice things, like get you a little microphone that hooks to your phone. That works great for cleaning your voice up, or, cleaning the ambient noise up around you in the room. It's like a 20 buck investment. It's not huge, but it made such a difference in my videos. And I'm not saying that I had any great videos. I'm just saying that me personally, I was like, well, at least that sounds halfway decent. Now I've got a different microphone these days, and I've got headphones, and I've got this streaming camera and a nice big monitor. But guys, I wrapped all of my videos that, even after I started doing live stream up until about 2 months ago, I was doing right through my phone. Everything. Now, I did my live stream through my camera here. So, but as far as, everything, my videos that I did on a daily basis, or almost daily, man, they were right through my little iPhone 11. So, guys, there's no excuse to not give it a try, and I'm trying to take all these things that maybe bring you some reservations about trying. I'm trying my best to remove them from you and let you know that nobody jumps out of this screen and eats you. Nobody's gonna do anything. Matter of fact, if you don't want to hear any comments, you can turn the comments off. But I encourage you, with comments or whatever that you don't like, just block them. Go on. Like, don't let no little petty stuff like that. There are probably people that don't even make content themselves. That's not, so usually other content creators are going to try to be kind to you and try to give you some encouragement. That's how it's been for me on my little year journey, over a year now. But, on my little journey, pretty much every content creator that I have run into, um, has been willing to offer some information or has been nice, encouraging. They may not be overabundant with information, but they've at least been encouraging, and even if they weren't, it doesn't matter. There's going to be people that dig what you're doing, but you're only going to find them if you put stuff out there. Then as you learn, start leaning in on proper titles, description, learn how to use some of these AI tools that's at your disposal. Have fun with it and learn what's going on. Like now, I started out learning how to do my description titles and all that and having ChatGPT help me. Well, I still have ChatGPT help me, but now I can assure you that I could do a really good description and a really good, or I think I could. I know I could do a good description. Now the title's always subjective to me, like, I don't know, I'm still working on good titles, but, like, a description, yeah, I could take and focus in on keywords and all that, like, I understand the concepts, and I learned it by using ChatGPT and understanding what they were doing and prompting conversation through it and learning. It took a little time, but I learned it, and now a lot of these things are just so comfortable and easy that it's mind-blowing. Like this one little short, my best short yet. It's a collaboration short, and that's why I say for any of my content creators out there, I encourage you to lean in on them. They'll help you get that exposure. But like it's over 40,000 views now, and I've gotten almost 80 subscribers off of that one short, and that's been in the past 4 days. Over 100 in the past 4 days or since Friday. So, lean in on those types of things. Learn about your hashtags. Learn about tying your channel to other bigger channels. It's okay to do that. There's nothing wrong with it. That's why there's a collaboration button. That's why that's there. And use it, guys. Use it to help you grow. Use it to help you grow organically. You can do it. You just got to accept that it's going to take a little bit of time for you to line all these tools up. And it's gonna take a lot of effort and patience, and most importantly, having fun with it and keeping it about having fun and letting yourself have the journey and learn and love the journey and just enjoy the folks you meet, the comments, and the things that you might get to do or whatever. Because 'cause it's been cool. This YouTube thing is pretty cool, like, I can see how the money's gonna be there. The money will be okay. You learn how to do some things fairly good. You're definitely gonna be okay. Like this is, coming from a small YouTuber, guys. I'm not getting a crazy amount. It's not like that. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I'm getting rich off of this. I'm saying that I see how if I just keep learning, I keep striving, I keep doing, it's gonna add up and it's gonna be there. And there's also gonna be people out there that want my help, that want to work with me, they see that okay, well this guy can, if now I feel like, okay, somebody that's just getting started, I feel like I am capable enough to help them get a good proper start and lead them in a good direction. Now, does that mean everything's perfect? Nah, nobody's perfect. But that just means I believe that, um, I have the tools at my disposal now to truly be able to help people, so I don't mind at all to offer that help and feel like I'm worthy of offering it. So, with that being said, that's what the journey's been for me, is to make myself an authority of these things. Because a year ago, I didn't know nothing. Well, now I'm a year in and I've monetized the channel. I'm seeing the fruits of the labor as far as keeping consistent, making videos. I can see it in my own personal growth. I'm not talking numbers. I'm saying I can look at my own stuff, and as an honest critic, I can say that I'm doing better on my videos today than I was a year ago. A year ago, I'm sitting up all straight and looking all, like that ain't the way I sit naturally. I don't. That ain't the way I do things. But now I feel like when I look, I like that's how I am. When I look at the videos today, it's like, okay, that feels more like how I truly am. That one, the ones where I'm sitting up there like, Like, just uncomfortable as that, but that's okay. That's okay. You gotta you gotta get through that. That's why I say if you really want my help, then I will certainly give it to you. But my first rule is go make those videos, whether it be 5, 6, 10. Just keep making your little videos about random little things until you get comfortable with your phone or your camera, whatever. And I say camera, it means phone or camera. But just keep doing it until at least you feel comfortable when you hit it. Doesn't mean that you don't never make a mistake in front of it and everything's perfect. I'm just saying when it doesn't feel uncomfortable no more. It's 5, 10 videos in is what it used. That's what it was for me. It was about 6, 8, 10 videos in. I started feeling good about like, okay, okay. Like I feel comfortable talking to this thing now. And get over the fact when people are able to hear you talking or when people are around, it don't matter. They ain't gonna eat you either. You know what I mean? It did feel awkward at first, though. I'm not gonna lie. It felt awkward to like, film in front of people and like, have my wife sitting out there, like, whatever. Now I don't care. I don't care. Difference doesn't make. I mean, I'd be in here probably talking to myself anyway. At least now I'd be able to say, well, I was in there talking to the camera, honey. I wasn't talking to myself. So for me, it's a win-win. You know what I mean? But, that's just my encouragement of approach. That's the way I would approach it, and that's the way I would encourage you to approach it is just start knowing that it's several videos in before you find that comfort level, and then when you find that comfort level, move yourself to the next level, which would be, you know, titles and thumbnail, start learning these little things. Don't overwhelm yourself and don't think you gotta have everything just perfect to put a video out. It's just not true. And you don't have to be perfect to get to monetization level if you wanna put the work in. I you I haven't been perfect. I haven't had no big, huge blow up videos or nothing like that. Not just hard, just as consistent going at it. Had a few good videos. Don't get me wrong now. I've had a few good videos. Got me some good watch time hours and stuff like that. And I've had, got several shorts up in the 15, 20, even 140,000 range. Um, but it's still it's been a process of learning to do little things and failing. If you want to call no view, not really getting no views a fail, I don't call it a fail. That just says I got to do better, right? I mean, that's how I feel about it. And I give myself the grace of saying my viral video may already be on my channel. Just be it the world may not be ready to find it yet, right? I give myself that grace, but I also give myself the honest critique of my work, and I allow myself that of like, "Ah, you could have done that better," or "That wasn't really that interesting," you know? So, that's the way that I try to approach, critiquing my channel, my video, learning to do banners, learning to do all these things that I didn't know how to do, and now easily can do them. And you will too be easily able to do them, and it won't take you near as long because I'm not all that sharp. So it takes me a little time to learn some of these things, and I had to actually learn how to turn the computer on. No kid. So that held me back a little bit. Um, but for you guys that's just getting started, guys, just keep going. I'm with you. Let me know what you're doing on your journey. Get her going. Don't be afraid to just get it going. See what happens. Nobody's gonna jump out and eat you, and you never know. You might really enjoy it, and you might really enjoy the journey, and that's what I encourage you to enjoy is the journey. Don't get discouraged by views and all this stuff. At first, just learn the journey. You'll learn so much that you can use in other ways, things that you wouldn't never know unless you just become a content creator and started doing this stuff. And then you would realize some of these other things that you didn't even know that was out there that you didn't even know was at your fingertips, but they are. But guys, I appreciate y'all being here. I thank you. Welcome to Creating Change. I appreciate you being here. My name is Guy. As always, man, I appreciate each and every one of you. I want to just send out an encouragement to you, man. We can all be content creators. There's room for all of us. Lean in on the things that you're weak at and lean in on those things and learn them. And don't be afraid to just keep on going. Just keep on pushing it out there and keep on giving it a try. And eventually you'll get your foothold. Just play the consistency game. Don't worry about the views and all that effort. Just be consistent. And I promise you put out that consistency and you keep doing it, you're gonna learn so many things just by being consistent like that and being honest with yourself as you look back at your videos and just enjoy that journey. As always, I appreciate you being here. Always good vibes to all of my beautiful people. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, subscribe, share if you feel so led. If not, I really don't care, guys. I just appreciate y'all being here. So until next time, y'all take care.